All right. Good evening once again. Welcome to this section. There are some of us that did not do the assignments. Gabriel, you were not able to do the assignments. Probably have it. Maybe join when I stop asking them to present it.
Sorry, which of the assignment, please?
The one of yesterday, we asked to go to
Okay, I have
cargo.
account with cargo already. I have account with cargo and I have data set from cargo
Cargo
already.
already. Okay.
Yes.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so yesterday we laid the foundation. We really discussed extensively on what data analytics is all about, and took our time to understand some of the ways we are expected to reason or to look at data as data professionals. So this section, I'm going to be focusing on some of the procedures. I'm going to be focusing on some of the procedures. After getting your data, what are the things we need to do? We need to understand the data. We need to, and understanding our data requires application of techniques. And those techniques are what I'm going to be focusing on. And then if we are fast in understanding those techniques, and we might also dive into data cleaning techniques as well. But usually, sometimes this particular exercise usually leads to data cleaning. But we need to also know that for you to be able to detect error within your data, there is an engagement. There is an engagement, and the engagement is that it is engaging yourself, trying to understand the data that will reveal to you some of these errors that you may want to think of cleaning. And that is why I am following that order. Yesterday, I told us that as a professional data analyst, your first priority is to access data from different sources. And that was what led to the cargo that I asked us to go and get data from. Now, we have been able to, now we have access to data, just like I have on my screen now. So let's assume that as a professional data analyst, you are given a data like this by an organization. And do not also forget that if you are employed, the company will be the one to give you the data, not you sorting out the data yourself. Now, so we are going to assume that now you have data. Now you have data. So what is the next step? The next step is for you to understand the data. It's for you to study and understand the data. And like I said, we are going to deploy some statistical methods to read through these data sets and be able to understand the variables within this data. And that will also lead to understanding some terms. If I ask us now what is data set, or what is the difference between data set and data frame? Now, we need to understand that what we have before us is data sets. And I'm going to make two terms clear so that as I use them interchangeably, we'll be able to understand. Though sometimes we use them interchangeably and there won't be any issue. So it depends on your priority and what you are trying to describe. That will determine whether you are to use one or to use the other. So what we have on the screen is data sets. And why is it called sets? So at we have done Python programming, we will understand what we call advanced data structure, where we have lists, where we have dictionary, where we have tuple, where we have sets itself, and the rest. But I will just try as much as possible to break it down why it is called set. Now, whenever you use the word data sets, you are actually referring to the collection of objects and series. I think I've mentioned it in one of the sessions. You are referring to the collection of objects and series within the data. Now, what are the objects? Because we are talking about understanding the data now. So the first thing you understand in your data is how many objects are in the data sets you are given. Object means features. Object can also be referred to as field names. Object can also be referred to as headers. Object can also be referred to as data labels. So you will hear different professionals using this term. Somebody can say, these are my label. Region is the first label. I don't know, let me check. Yeah, region is the first label. So which also means that region is the first object. Now, this object that you are seeing here is like a dictionary. It's like a dictionary or a list. Because lists, just permit me to break it down. When we get to Python probably or data type, we will understand it properly. But I just want to borrow this concept so that I can use it to explain why we call these data sets. Instead of just saying what data, why do we have that set? Now, this is a list. This is a list, and a list is a kind of multi-structured data container that holds, that is what, a single variable holding multiple values. So in this case, I can say the name of the list of this value is region. So which means that the region is the object, while the region is the object, while all these are the values, are the object properties. And these object properties can be referred to as what? The values. When they are, are captured vertically. But when they are captured horizontally, like this, it becomes a record or series. And that is why we say that data set is the collection of objects and series. The collection of objects and series. The headers are the objects, while the records horizontally are the series. Then the record directly under the field, we refer to those one as the what? The object properties. Now, we are talking about understanding your data as a data analyst. Why is it necessary for you to understand this data? Before we look at that, let me also explain another thing that is very important for us to understand at this point, which is called data frame. Data frame. So we have what we call data sets, and then we have data frame. We have data sets, we have data frame. Now, I just explained this now, that data set is the collection of data objects and words, the series. What about data frame? Data frame is emphasizing on the length and the width of that data set. Is anybody getting me? Please let me get a response. Are you following?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. What I'm saying is that if I'm using the word data frame, to describe this, that we are also describing a data set, it then means that my emphasis is on measuring the length and the height of this data set. But if I'm using data sets, it means that I am emphasizing or focusing on the headings and the numbers of record. So why do I need to understand this before I start my analysis? If you are a contract data analyst, your charges will be determined by the frame of the data you are given to analyze. What do I mean by that? If a company called me now that we want you to analyze our data, how much will it cost us? I am not going to charge them until I understand the frame of the data. And what is that frame now? I would like to know how many headers, because the logic is this: the number of headers plus the numbers of headers you have in the data set, that is the numbers of headers. I'm using the basic term, or the number of features, determine the length of what? The data. Determine the length of the data. Determine the length of the data. So let's get that. Now, how do I now measure the what? Which means that if I am asked while I am trying to understand this data, because there are silent questions we are going to be asking ourselves once I'm done with this. These are not questions that you ask. These are not questions that you make known to the stakeholder. These are questions you ask within yourself. And you as you provide answers to those questions, that will make you to understand the data. For example, if we want to measure the frame of this data, we are going to find out how many headers are in this data set, which means from region to what? Total profits. That is how you measure the length. So how do I count the number of headers in my data set as one of the process involved under understanding your data? At this point, you have not started your analysis. You have not started. So you are simply trying within yourself to understand the data. So data frame, just to conclude on that before we look at another topic, data frame is the what? The total numbers of headers and the total number of records in a data set. I hope somebody got that. The total numbers of headers and the total numbers of record defines the frame of your data. And you can see, like I said, the numbers of headers will suggest how much you are to charge. If I am given a data set with just maybe total cost and total profits as against what? Maybe region and country, you will know that your analysis, the analysis questions you are going to answer will be minimal. But where you have, imagine you have total revenue, you have total cost, you have total profit, you have unit cost, you have unit price, you have units sold, you have ship date, you have, in fact, it means that you have a lot of insights to draw from this data. So now that we understand that, remember the topic is what? Understanding your data, techniques that helps us to understand our data as a data professional. So we are going to be asking, you can write to understand your data effectively, to understand your data effectively. There are silent questions to ask yourself. There are silent questions to ask yourself. So we're going to be taking these questions one after the other and providing answer to these questions simply mean we are studying the data set. And let me give out the connection so that if you skip this, so that you know what you are about to get as a professional. After collecting your data, if you decide to skip what you want to learn, and that's what understanding the data, and you now jump to the next step, because after you understand your data, the next step is cleaning. Now, that cleaning is optional. It is when you are studying the data that you now find out that, oh, there are some error. But you can as well study data and discover that there are no error. So which means that we can have the order this way. We can have data collection and what? Drafting of what? Analysis question. We can have data collection, data collection, understanding the data cleaning, and drafting question, and then performing what? Analysis. You can see that order. We can as well have it as data collection, understanding your data. We are skipping cleaning because the data can be clean, and then jump to what? Drafting your analysis question, and then finally before you analyze. All these are mentioned. They have different skill sets that you must develop yourself on. You must have data collection skills. You must have data understanding skills. You must have data cleaning skills. You must have data and data question drafting, or let's say analysis question drafting skill. That is very key. So, which means that one affects the other. If I do not study my data very well, it will automatically affect the quality of my analysis question. And if the quality of my analysis question are substandard, that will affect the quality of the insights that will be derived. And if the quality of the insights you derive do not also meet the requirement, or probably the substandard, that will affect the, how do I put it? That will affect the quality of the decision that the stakeholders are going to make using your presentation, your reports. So that is why we are following the order. If you check very well, the last class we ended it with how to get data. Now we want to study the data. What are these silent questions? These silent questions are strategically mapped out in order to help us to understand our data. So I will go to my dashboard. Remember that at this point, you are actually doing analysis, but this analysis that you are doing, they are not, most of them, they are not for the stakeholder consumption. They are for your personal consumption. So you're actually analyzing with most of the techniques that I'm going to show us. So for that reason, the standard says that whenever you start drawing insight from a given data set, you are not expected to display your insight within the same sheet where you have the source data. That is not a professional practice. The professional practice says that all your insights should be separated from the source. All right? And where you assemble those insights becomes your dashboard. That is why a dashboard can be defined as a set aside or a dedicated or an interface developed or created to communicate your findings, to communicate your discoveries, to communicate your reports. And that is the standard. So that is why you see me saying that this is a dashboard. So I'm going to name it by double clicking on it, and then I will just name it dashboard. I hope we are following, please, and I hope I'm not too fast. Let me know that I have you. Okay. All right. Okay. So I've named this sheet as my dashboard, and a dashboard needs to be very attractive. So if your dashboard is going to be attractive, then you have to prioritize color combination and your layout. These are very key when it comes to designing dashboard. So this is just a minor dashboard just for us to answer some of those questions that will help us to have a deep understanding of our data. So what I'm going to do is to format it a little. Probably these are part of the things we have learned under the basic aspect. So we go to inserts just to, so in case somebody come to this sheet, he or she will automatically know what is happening here. So I'll go to insert, and then we select text, and then click on word art, and then choose from any of these symbols. So I'll simply write, let me just say, insights, inside sheets. Let me just label it this way. So I can just position it here. Remember, part of the things we learned last time are just to silence all the grid lines within that section so that the focus can be on that write-up. I highlighted the whole of that section, and then I'm consulting the fake color bucket, and then I'll choose the color. So I just want to choose color that will allow to see what I'm doing. And then I want to ask those questions. So what is the first silent question that will lead to me understanding this data I am given to analyze? So the first question is that I'll just put what Q1 here, and then I will merge this cell together. Click on merge at center or any of the option there. And what is the question? Now we want to calculate, want to know the frame of our data. So for that reason, the question, the silent question, remember I said these questions are not questions you reveal to anybody. It's within you. You are only triggering them to understand the data. So I'll say, okay, how many features are in the data set? How many features are in the data set? Right? So now this is where I'm going to output the results. And now this is also taking us to application of some of the Excel basic statistical function, because these are the method, these are the analytics or analytical method that we are going to use to answer this question. It's not as if we are going to count. Now, what a basic Excel user will do is that they will now come here and start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't need that. You are an advanced user of Excel. So what you do is that you write a cell intersheet referencing function to do that. What I want to do now is called a cell intersheet referencing. Why am I describing it as a cell intersheet referencing? Because I am going to be writing a function here, and the function will contact a different sheet. So when you write function in one sheet and the functions perform the calculation or the operation in another sheet, in Excel, it is called intersheet referencing. And that is what we are going to do now. Now, we are going to answer the question with count A function. Count A function. Now, in Microsoft Excel, we have a function which falls under statistical function that count only number or integer. Integer in programming means what? Whole number. Under number in programming, we have integer, we have floats or double numbers. Integer, because I'll be using this, let me quickly explain this. Integer means what? Whole number. For example, 90 is an integer. 100 or this is an integer. Then we have floats. We have floats. Floats means what? Numbers with decimal units. For example, 19.5 is a float, right? Then maybe 600.9 is a float number. All of them are under what? Number. So under number in programming, we have float number, we have integer number. So you understand if I use these words in the course of the training. Now, if you are counting strings in programming, then what we call what? String. String is anytime I use the word string, anytime I use the word string, it means what? Text. It means text or character. For example, prosper. Prosper is a string. It's not a number. Now that we understand that, what you want to count, and I would like somebody to unmute and tell me all these values that you want to count, can we say that they are number or string? Please, quick response.
Strings.
They are what? They are string. They are not numbers. So when you are counting string in a cell, there is a function which is called what? Count A. That A means what? Count any type of data. It can count number, it can count text. So that is the function I'm going to use to answer this question. So I will write the function here. Remember that the standard for writing function is that you start with equal sign, and then I am going to call the function from the library. And then once I type the keyword COU, then I have the list of functions that starts with that or that have the keyword. So I am considering this one instead of this because I'm counting what? Character. So I'll double click on it to complete it. Now, anytime you are working with function on any platform, please understand something. The parenthesis bracket that you have there is its envelope or it represents the function input or the function parameter. What do we mean by function inputs or function parameters or function arguments? Now, function input means the data you are giving to the what? The function to work. So for example, now what is it asking us as soon as we open the parenthesis system of what? Value 1, value 2, value 3, which means that it's simply asking for a range or arguments. Remember from the basic class, you must be familiar with this thing. When we say cell range in a cell, we are talking about what? Set of numbers or value from one cell to another. When we say cell argument, we are talking about the name of the variables holding the values within the word, the cell. For example, the function says, give me the range of the values to count. Then we are going to switch to the data set where we want to count the headers. So I'll click where I want to start from. Let's say I'm counting from my right to the left. I can as well go and select the first header or the first feature, which is the region, and what? Count towards my right hand side. So whichever way, but in this case, I'm selecting towards my left. So I'll click where I want to start the counting from. Then hold down the control button on your keyboard. Then press the shift button. I believe we know this. Then there is a place where you have 4 arrows. Up, down, left, and right. So depending on the direction you are highlighting towards. So I'm using the word the left. and then it automatically what highlight the whole of the headers or the feature. So the moment I hit enter from here, not going back to the dashboard sheet, it will output the what the result here. So it means that we have 14 headers in this data frame. So this test in this data set rather. So which means that I have beginning to measure the frame, the boundary of my data. So this is lot of headers. So that is the first silent question that will lead to you understanding part of your data. Any question, please? Any question? So I want to give us 5 minutes to do what I did now. And then when I come back, we answer another silent question that will also help us to further understanding the data. What we are doing now, we are only understanding. We are exploring information, details about the data we are given to analyze, so that when we have concrete understanding, when we have better understanding of the data we are given, then drafting quality analysis question is guaranteed. Any question? If there's no question, I'll be coming to our screen, and then
Should we use any data set?
yes, use any data set.
Okay.
And then once I call your name, you share your screen to see what you are doing. Let me come on the share the people I have here. Please, who is okay, Antonia, you join with 2 numbers. I'm seeing Antonia Chidebere. I'm seeing Tonia. Sandra is not in today. Okay, so I'll be coming to Mr. Excellence Ozigi. Please, you can share your screen. Let me see what you are doing. After some time, I'll switch to another person's screen. So just make sure that you are working, so that once I come to your screen, I should be able to see something that you are working.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. I am using my phone to follow. I'm not even at home. I'm just following.
Okay.
So that when I get home, I'll be able to replicate what I'm doing. I'm not really with my system.
Okay.
Sorry about that, sir.
Okay. King, let me come on your screen. And after King, I'll be coming to Miss Hannah's screen. King, please let me come on the screen. Please.
I'm sorry. I'm unable to do it right now, but I will do it later before we finish the
Okay,
meeting.
so let me come to Mrs. Hannah's screen, please. And then Tonia, I hope if you can hear me, I'll also come on your screen after Mrs. Hannah. So get ready for that. Hannah, please kindly share your screen.
Okay. Sure. Okay, so what should I do? Insert.
Please, you have to be telling us what you are doing now.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Lisa, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay. So I want to answer the first question. How many features? How many features are there? And then I'll use the count function equals count A, I mean to say count A function, and then I'll go to my data set and highlight the headers using the shift and arrow key. So I have, and then I press enter. So I have 15.
Okay, perfect. So, Tonia, if you are here, let me quickly come on your screen before I proceed. This, we need to prepare for classwork. This is a master class. We are supposed to be having some interaction in between, so not just feeling all through. Okay, so I think Mrs. Tonia, she just also joined. Her spirit is here, but her body is not here, I'm very sure. So, okay, let's proceed. Okay, so we have just answered the first question. Now we have an understanding of, we have 14 headers. Wow, we have a lot of questions to answer. That is the information. Now, let's continue studying the data. We still have few information to exploit from this data. Now, I talk about data frame, being measured with the number of headers and the records. So that's one has answered what? The header. So which means that we have been able to measure the length of the data. Now we want to measure the height. That will give us an idea of how large the data set is. So the next question is going to be, how many? I'm not really focusing on formatting at the moment. Maybe after everything, we can take our time to format. So the next question is, how many? So I will just replicate this here, and then just edit the question. How many here is going to be how many series or how many records? Let me use this. How many records are in the data set? How many records? So answering that question, we are going to use, this time around, I'm going to use counts. I'm going to use counts. That is ordinary count, so that we can also understand how to use it. We are going to use count. Now, remember, I said the count can only count numbers. The count cannot count strings. All right. So, which means that the set of range that I'm going to use for the counting, the set of range that I'm going to use for the counting will be number range. So going back to the data set, I'm not going to use this to count, because if I'm counting the records, then I have to select the value horizontally. I have to select the value, vertically. Now, because I'm using counts, not count A, so I'll select any of these, because I have either what? Float numbers or integer number, but I can't use this because these are string. So now, how do we select from the first record also to the last record? Just a second. How do we select from the first record to the last record? So we do the same thing. Start from here. You click on where you want to start from. Hold down the control and the shift button on your keyboard. Then this time around, we are highlighting downward. So we have to use the arrow that is facing down. And the cell will automatically, I think, click here, comment. It's like one of the buttons was not properly pressed. So, okay, so you hold down the control and the shift, and then you press what? Enter. And then you see that we have what? 100 records. We have 100 records. This can be part of your main analysis, because when you are reporting, for example, when I took us to cargo yesterday, I told us, you saw the way the documentation was done. You saw how the students or whoever that uploaded data highlighted the total number of records in the data set he or she analyzed. the number of headers in the data. So which means that if you want to do a presentation now, all this can also form part of your analysis. I'm talking about your main analysis dashboard or the main report, right? But right now, they are only serving as techniques for us to understand the data we are given. So I have an idea that, oh, this data is very small, it's just 100. Okay, so the records are not much, but the headers are much. So we understand that. So the next information we need to understand is, but we understand that first, please, I want a response if that is clear before I proceed.
It's clear, sir.
Let me also hear from someone else. Please, the rest, let us be active. Oh. I don't want to just assume that it's all well with one person. That's what I'm asking for. Is it clear?
I have a question.
Okay, ma, go ahead.
When you were doing this, when you were counting the records, did you include the row that contains the headers?
The row. Are you talking about here? This?
The second question you answered. No, the second question.
Yeah, the second question was, I counted everything here. Are you asking whether I include this one?
Yeah, well, yeah, yes, whether you included that one.
No. You shouldn't include it. It's not part of record.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, so the next silent question I want to
Sorry,
ask.
sir, another question. Sorry, sir.
Okay.
I have another question. But instead of counting from the total profit from this one, can I come and count from the row number?
From here?
From the row number, like, yes, from there, yes. Can I start from here?
Here, like
Will
this.
you give me the same?
Are you talking about counting
Yes,
from
sir.
here, like this down?
No, you like from number 2 now. Yes, you highlight it.
You highlight it like this, have you?
I highlight the row.
Like this now?
No, just the row. No, not like that, sir. Just the row.
Okay, I'm talking about here.
Yeah, hey, if I highlight it like this and use that control shift down before I press enter, is it okay?
Yeah, provided you have your results.
Okay.
Try it, see whether you have your results.
Okay,
you know, why I counted there is that I have numbers. So provided you have your results, there is no cause for alarm. That is computer for you. Computer does not have one way. Okay, so are we together? Are we together? And I hope we are learning. Are we together? I don't know why the rest are
yes,
just okay. I understand that some of us are not at home.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not following, sir.
You are just coming. You have not been here.
Hello.
You have not been here.
I'm just coming. I've been here. I wanted to share my screen. He said I'm off and on, so I just.
You have not been off and on. No, you have been stable. You have been stable. I don't think there have been any time you left the school. Even there was a time when I was asking to share screen. I was busy calling your name. Miss Hannah, you can attest to that, right? I was even saying you joined with two different names, Tunia and the one with Chinebere. If you were here, why don't you would have answered that time now? I wanted to come
I
to
joined
you.
With two names, you called the names. So
Yes, I was seeing two names that time. I was seeing two names that time.
You have been here.
It's one of the we have with people we just not be here. They will leave and go and do something else. Then when they come back now, they will end up drawing us back. That is why sometimes I pause to ask questions just to know whether you are there. When I don't get response, I will assume that you are not in. So at which point you are not following? Let me see if it's something I can quickly touch so that I can move forward. At which point? From where?
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm with you. I said, at which point you got lost?
The formula of when you are computing the dashboard sheet.
Okay, let me go to the
The
dashboard.
formula is what
Are you talking about the formula we use here, right?
Yeah.
The formula we use here
Yes,
and here.
yes.
Look at it here. Count
Yes,
A.
that's where I'm from.
Yeah, look at it here. Count A. Because we are counting strings. We are counting string. For example, let me just quickly do one here. So the question we are trying to answer is that a question that will help us to understand our data. So we are saying that it is very important that when we are given data before we proceed to analysis, we understand the data. And understanding the data means that we exploit some techniques to find out certain things from the data. And one of them is that we wanted to know, okay, how many of these headers or features are in this data set? And we understood that all these headers, they are not numbered, they are text. So because of that, what we did is that I just typed equals to, and I typed what? Count A. Count A, because we are counting tests. And then we went back to the data, and let's say we want to start from here. We click on the first one. Then we held down the control and the shift button on your keyboard, and then we press the right arrow button, and that selected the entire data headers, and then I press enter. That was how we got this 14. And then we also said, okay, we want to count the total number of records in this data frame. I hope you are following. Tonia, please. Are you following
Yes,
now?
I'm following. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
Yes,
what I
sir. Yes, sir.
want to count the total number of records in this data frame. We now did this time around. We use another function which can count, but this one can only count numbers. It cannot count texts. Right? So we use this one that does not have the A, and then we went back to the data because this function can only count numbers. So we use any of, you can use any of these value that are number. I can use this one to do the counting. So hold down the control and the shift, and then press the down arrow button, then press enter. That is how we got the 100. I hope you are good now.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. So now we have another question, another thing we want to ask. Now we are going into understanding the individual objects type of data. It's very important. For example, now I'm going to look at this region. What type of data do I have under region? Oh, these are string, these are string, these are string. Good, that is one. Now, another thing is that I need to know whether these are unique variables or categorical variable or classified variable. So these are terms that are associated with this field. You need to start knowing them, as particularly those that we follow to data science. Now, when we say classified data and unclassified data, or categorical data and unique value, look at it here. Anytime you have set of value under an object or a label or feature that are repeated, those kind of value are called what? Classified what? Data or value, or they are called categorical values. How do I know? Because we can categorize them per region. So we have Australia, we have other places where the same Australia. So we can say, okay, we want to do a group analysis that all the places where we have Australia and Oceania, we want to know their total profits generated. Then we can also come and say, okay, we have Asia, all the total profit from this country, we want to do an aggregate analysis on them. So which means that these are categorical value. Why? Because there are repeated values. Does anybody understand that? Because there are what? Repeated value. So I understand that now. But now the question I want to ask now is that before I start my analysis, I want to know how many unique regions are in this. How many unique regions are in this what region? So let's go to the question 3. Remember that these can form part of your analysis. At the same time, questions that reveal your data to you. All right, so let me just autofill this one, autofill it, and then click on this, and then edit the question here. So how many unique regions do we have in the data set? How many unique region in the data set? How many unique regions? Here we are going to use another Excel function. My interest is exposing you to these functions and also teaching you how a data analyst can use them to what? To fetch important information from a given data. So here we are going to use we are going to combine two functions together. We are going to combine counts because we want to know how many of them. We are going to combine counts, and then we are also going to combine counts and also combine what? Unique. So two functions will be involved here. So if you just say unique, it will just display, but you want to know how many of them. That is why we are going to wrap the unique function inside the count function. So how do we go about this? So I am going to count A, not count, because these values are strings. They are not number. So I shouldn't use what? Count. So now I come back to my dashboard. Let's say I want to put it here. I write equals to. Then I will start with the count A. Now, after the count A, then I will now, nest the unique function. So this unique function actually is a new introduced function. You might not get it in lower version. I don't even think it's in my version, but for those of us that are using a version that is higher than my own, so I will just manually run it. Then you can run it there and give us a reply. So it's a new function. So let's say what? Unique. Then you have to open its own bracket because you are nesting it in another function. Then after that, you will now specify the range from where to where you are counting unique. So we have to go back to the data, and then I will just select here and then select here. All right, so that is the range of the unique I am counting. Then I have to close the brackets. So why they are selected like this? Because the data has been formatted as table. So I have to come here and close the brackets. How many brackets are we closing? We are closing 2 brackets. Remember, the first one is for the count A, while the second one is for the what? The unique. So we are closing and then we press enter. So it counted what? 1. But meanwhile, we have more than that. So can you run it on your own? Let's see, because I said it's a new function that, because as soon as I type that unique, it's supposed to bring it out to show that it's in this very version that I'm using. But somebody should apply it and give us a reply. If you have a version higher than 2019, it should be able to work for you. So I'm waiting for a reply from any one of us. Or let me come on the Miss Hannah's screen. Miss Hannah, please share your screen. And Every other person should be doing the same thing. Ms. Hannah, please share your screen. Let's see if you have the function in your own version. I don't know if Ms. Hannah is here or please. Before this function will work for you, you have to be using Excel 365, which is the online, or Excel 2021 and above. Are we still here? Nobody is responding. No. Let me pause and wait. Share your screen. Let's see.
I've sent a request. It's just loading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't still see it yet.
Okay.
Okay, it's coming. It's coming.
Okay. Okay, so I want to count the unique values, right?
Yeah.
Let me just. Okay, let me just enter the function. I can do the typing later. Equals count. I'm counting the unique values in the blood group column because I'm not using the data set you're using.
Okay. Let me see
Okay.
whether you don't have the unique function. Do you even have it? Okay, you have not started typing
Yeah, I
yet.
do.
Okay, good, good.
Count A, then unique.
Unique, okay. Yeah. Okay, good.
Then I'll go to my data set.
Okay.
And then I want to use blood group, a blood type.
Okay.
Yay. I don't know if that's okay. That's unique. Let me use unique blood type. Okay. And then I close the bracket twice. One,
Okay.
2. Enter.
What did you get?
I got 0. Okay, sorry. I got 8. I got 8.
Good. So you can see that once you have, I think your Excel should be okay. You are using even online save. I know the other time you are using online version. Okay, good. So that is how it works. So with this now, you have an idea of, like I said, it can actually form your, it can form part of your analysis. While you are presenting, you can be telling the organization that, okay, from the data I analyzed, I discovered that this company sold certain number of unique products, and I want to give the breakdown of the profits generated per each of these products, which we are going to do in one of the lecture. Now, so that is how to use it. I hope that is settled. So we have been able to, let's see if there's something else we need to know about this data. Okay, so I think with this, we have some understanding on our data. So I think if there's no question, we will dive into some data cleaning techniques for the remaining time that we have. So ask question if you have on this aspect. I think we'll still be.
Question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so when you started this class, you said one of the ways we'll know how much to charge to analyze the data is to actually understand data.
Yeah.
Now my question is, do I finish this insight completely before I now get back to the client and say, okay, this is how much I want to charge before I now begin data cleaning?
Okay, now at the point where you are negotiating, sometimes you may not have access to the data, but professionally, it is advised that you tell them that my charges depends on the volume, the data, and the number of insights that I am going to present, because the volume will determine. Sometimes it's not the volume. Sometimes you can have a data set that has so almost all the field are test. No number like unit cost to unit price, So, but you will let them know that I would like to know the volumes. That is the word you use. That is if some of them, they have an idea of the volume of their data, so they can tell you where they will not allow you to see it while you are negotiating. So if they are able to give you an idea of the volume of the data, then you can do plus and minus. But in a situation where they are able, or you are able to access the data before, maybe you tell them, okay, let me see the data. If I see the data, I'll be able to know how much I will charge. You understand? So you have to deploy different techniques to know how to charge. And then where you don't have access to the data at all, and they don't want to, and they still want you to tell them or to give them a range of how much you charge. So in that case, you make sure that you do not shoot your leg. What you do is that it's going to be at their own detriment. Why? Because if you were supposed to charge, let's say 100,000, you know that you might be given the data and it might be so voluminous that you cannot go back and rebargain. You can be given the data, it may not be much. So for you not to be on the losing parts, what you do is that you increase your charges beyond the margin you normally charge, plus or minus, should in case the data exceeds your expectation. I hope I've made sense there, because there are different scenarios. Some of them will not want to take you to their website, but the ideal thing is that you are supposed to see the data you want to analyze if it's going to be contract.
Okay, sir.
They may not copy it to you, but if you can see it from their system, it's very important. Okay, so let's start data cleaning. Like I told us the other time, that the process of trying to understand your data, you can find out that there are a lot of errors in the data set. You can also discover that there are no errors. The data is well structured, because a data set that a fellow data analyst collected, there are 80 to 90%, probability of not having error, because it's a professional that collected the data. So there are times that you study your data and you discover. Now remember, I was talking about data type. These are categorical data. These are categorical data. These are categorical data. These are categorical data. And at the same time, they are all string. This is not string. This is date. This is what? Unique value. These are not categorical data. I don't think the values here are repeated. But if you notice that they are repeated, then automatically they become what? Categorical or classified data. Then here, these are integer. All of them, I think they are integer. We don't have floats here. Then here, these are floating numbers. These are floating numbers. These are floating number. All right. So now, like we discussed, I think that was yesterday section. We want to look at data cleaning. If you look at this, you will see that there are no much cleaning involved. But we are going to capture some errors. We are going to errors, see how we can, if we are given a data set where we have such error. So I'm going to focus on common data cleaning techniques first. Common data cleaning. What are some of these cleaning that are common with what? Perfecting data. So we need to understand what is data cleaning. You can write introduction to data cleaning techniques in Excel. Introduction to data cleaning techniques in Excel. There are so many techniques individuals understand, but we'll look at the common one. And most time, this cleaning are discovered based on the challenges that you could be facing. So that is why we are going to assume them. So what is data cleaning? Data cleaning is a crucial aspect of data analysis or in the field of data science, because it is an art, it is a process that engage us perfecting the data to make sure that we have error-free data. And we need to also understand the implication of analyzing error-full data. You must make sure that to the best of your knowledge, the data is clean. And that is why I told you last time that this is going to be the responsibility of some individuals. This is going to be an aspect some persons specialize on. Their work is that they devoted that time to understand different ways of what? Cleaning data. So when they clean data for you, in fact, you as a professional data analyst, you will just be flowing and your insights will be more accurate. So one of the danger of not cleaning your data, no matter how you are rushing, that is why I said you must study, because it is through that process you know whether the data require cleaning or not. And then while you are studying and you discover some of these errors, you note them down. When you are done studying your data, you pick them one after the other, perfect the data. Before you start cleaning, please keep the original one somewhere. I said it yesterday also. Learn to keep, don't analyze the source data or the raw data you are given. Learn to keep that one aside. All right, so should in case you destroy it, you can always call it back. That is the standard. So I am going to assume some. So let's assume that the first cleaning is how to remove duplicates. So there are some time that when we start the analysis, like I just told you now, these are categorical data. So if I copy the whole of this, so I will just copy this. Let me take it out from here, Control C. And then I bring it to my dashboard just for us to learn how to perform this cleaning, then Control V. So as you can see, you will see that these values, if I'm to perform group aggregate analysis on these categorical values, it means that baby food will represent all the transaction that are equal to baby food in this data. So which means that I don't need to repeat baby food. I will just have just one baby food. The same thing to other products. So how do I remove duplicates? How do I remove duplicates? That is the first cleaning that we want to perform. How to remove duplicates. All right, now you can be writing your step like this value that I have dropped here now. I want to remove duplicates. I want only one value to represent all the transactions that were done on that product in the data set. So to remove duplicate, you select the range. Select the range. The range means what? As in the distance from where to where do you want to remove the duplicate from. So you select it. Remember, we just discovered how we can select the range automatically using those buttons on the keyboard instead of manually highlighting them. Now, once you are done with the selecting, you go to Data tab. You click on Data tab. So when you click on Data tab, you now come to where you have Data Tools. You can see them here. Data Tools. From these Data Tools, you will see what? Duplicate. In some screen, you may not see this right up here, remove duplicate. It might just be represented with this icon. So that is why as you are learning this function, also understand the icon that represents them. It helps a lot. So that where your screen is collapsed in a way that trying to, maybe due to how small it is, trying to accommodate everything, can just decide not to show you the description, can just represent them with what the icon. So once you click here, now Excel is going to output that yes, this is the column where I have discovered the duplicates. So all you need to do is to align with Excel by agreeing with it, by saying yes, that is it. Then you click OK. So once you click OK, and then you click what? Okay, you see a reply that says that 88 duplicate value found and removed. And at the end of the day, we end up with what? 13 what? Unique value. Remember that that function that we could not access, you know that I can use this to achieve it. Where your Excel does not have that unique function, you can use this logic to achieve it. I hope that is clear. So we have just 13 words, unique value. But remember that it counted the words this. So if we are to write our report, we are going to say we have what? Maybe 12 unique words, item or products, right? So now you can see how we remove the duplicate. So the next thing, any question on that? Any question? Let me give us 5 minutes to achieve that. I want to come on Antonia's screen while others could be doing it also. 5 minutes or 5 minutes might be too much. So Antonia, if you can hear me, so please, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm coming on your screen. I want you to copy everything to your dashboard, then remove the duplicates. So you can go ahead now. The rest, you can be doing that as well. Quickly, so that we can look at a couple of them before the end of the class. Antonia, share your screen. Let's see your screen. Okay, we are coming on your screen now. Why is your screen capturing us like this? Go to your Excel. Go to Excel now. Go to your Excel interface. Please let's know what is happening so that we don't just time is running. We have that 20 something minutes.
Okay, so I'll copy the names on the Excel.
Okay.
From the dashboard. I'm going to.
I can't see your screen, but just try it. Just try it. Let's see if you can get it. Please, others, anybody working, once you have gotten it, let us know.
Okay, I've gone to remove duplicate. I clicked OK. It said one duplicate value found.
Okay.
Remove 21 unique value.
Okay, so
21 unique values remains. Yeah.
Okay, which means that you have which means you have gotten it.
Okay.
Okay, so any other person, Miss Hannah, have you also gotten it? Let me also confirm. Have you verified that also? So we can move to the next one.
Yes, I have.
Okay, now another cleaning technique that I feel we should know. They can give you a data set like this. Let me see. They can give you a data set where you have two words, but this data set does not really have what I want to teach us. So I'm going to create it. I'm going to create it and then and show us, because they might give you a data set like this. For example, let's say name, and then you can have prosper. You can have prosper. You can have prosper Eloho. And then you can also have, let's say, Jude Okoro. You can see that this name combine both my surname and my first name. And if the data that is given to you, you have them in one column and you are asked to split them, that is, without you manually retyping, you are asked to split them such that the first name will be here, maybe the surname will come to the next column. So that is one of the challenge that people face when it comes to data cleaning. They can give you data like that and they expect you to split them. So how do we go about this? Is the next what data cleaning technique we want to learn. So I want to refer to that as how to split data. How to split data. So for us to split this data, our first step is that we are going to select the cell. We are going to select the cell. I just hope that where I have it. We are going to select the cell. Let's say we are selecting this, and then you go to that same data tab, and then you see the command here, text to column. So the moment you click on text to column, you are going to see these are delimited, which means character such as commas or table. So most style are values that are separated with comma. After bringing them to a cell, you want to make them to stand in their separate column. Sometimes when they give you data in a text format that they are separated with comma, and you load them into a cell, you want to split them into column, you are going to go through this process. So if I select next, ordinarily it will ask you that, okay, this particular value that you want to split, look at it here. This screen lets you set the delimiter your data contain. The data you want to split, if you look at the value, what is separating Prosper from a law is not comma, it's space. So you go for space. So the moment I click on space, you see what happened. That is when I am getting the splitting that I'm looking for. But you separated them with comma. Then until you click on comma before you can see the appearance. So I am going to use space, and then I'll click on next, and then click on finish. So what happened, you can see that a cell has automatically moved the second name to a new column. So it's now left for you to rename this column to either first name and surname. I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's also perform that before we proceed.
It's not clear to me. Sorry about that.
Okay, so let me go back. Now, what we are trying to explain here is that the entire data set, let's say the particular data now, there's a column. The reason why I did not use this column, because there are some that are single word, like this euro. All right, so if I use it now, I'm going to have issue. Let's assume that the data set is the kind of employees name, employee data, where they have computed all their names. Instead of separating them, first name, surname, they computed everything in one column, and the column is labeled name. So now giving it to you, you are mandated to split the data. That is what the surname should be in a separate column, and the first name should be in a separate column. So that is what we are trying to do here. So since we don't have it in that data set, so we created it here as a challenge, and we want to split it. I hope you understand the communication first before we go for the practical side. You understand the communication, right, Mr. Excellent?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Okay. So now that you understand the communication, now this is where we created the challenge ourselves, and we want to what? Solve it. So the first step is that I highlighted those values. If you have them like many like this, you highlight all of them. In fact, let me autofill. Let me drag this. Let me drag this. Let me drag it. Let's say this is how you have all of them. So what I'm saying is that you start by selecting all of them. After that, then you go to data tab, and then under data tools, you go to what? Text to column. So this is as, sorry, I hope you can hear me now, Mr. SLN. Let me get a response from you if I proceed. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So I highlighted the entire data first, the range that I want to split, and then I went to data. Then I click on this. Now, clicking on this, a dialog box is prompted. And this dialog box is highlighting you or trying to describe what you want to do. So what I did is to click on next, and then clicking on next. Initially, we are not on space. All right, we are not even on space, but this was selected what? Automatically. So I need that tab. Now, the question now is that.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. After clicking data, what brought the dialog box? What function gave you this?
Yeah, this one. If you can see my navigation button, can you
Okay,
see it?
okay.
Yeah. You click on good. Then you click on next. Now, I am saying that depending on the format the data was given to you, if the values are separated with comma, then you have to click on what? Comma. But if you look at this now, Jude and Okoro, what is separating them is what? Empty space. So that is why I selected space. That the data I'm trying to split, what is currently demarcating them is space. Adibin is comma. I think I will come back and try the one of comma. And then once you can see the preview giving you what you wanted, then you're on the right track. Then you can now click next and then click finish. You see that what Excel has moved the second name to a separate column. I hope that is clear now. Is that clear, sir?
Very well, very well.
Okay.
Very well.
So now
Very well.
now let's try it for comma. Let's try it where you have comma. All this data will be given to you that might have this appearance. Let's say here, you separate this with comma. Most time when they import test data from SQL, they give it to you to work on in Excel. When you load it, it will come like this, like a test format. So that is why you need to learn this. Now, I want to split this. I highlight and then go to the same word data tab, then select word to column. And then this time around, I will click on what? Not space. I will click on what? Comma. You see, the moment I click on comma, then you see the format you are looking for, and then click and then perfect. So you need to know what are the format of the data. I hope that is clear before we look at another thing entirely. Any question on this? I think it's clear because we have explained it multiple times. I don't think there should be any question. All right. So let's look at another data cleaning technique. Make sure you are noting them down because I'm not sure that I may even complete them because they are actually much, but I want to focus on the common ones. a common one. So if you go to Kaggle now, those of us that sometimes when you download data from Kaggle, you see where a column, they use command to separate so many values. So you can now use this to clean them up, to what? To put them in different column. Now, another data cleaning techniques that I want to bring in here is this. Let's assume that you are asked to copy everything you have here in another column. Everything you have here, you are not going to copy and paste. It's a logic that we need to also know as advanced user. You are not going to copy and paste. You are just simply asked that all this value should be repeated here automatically. So let's say I want to call this one here first. So the way I am going to do is that I'm going to invoke it from here without me typing it. So how am I going to do that? You type equals to first, and then you click on it and press enter. You see the way I invoke it, which is equivalent to what? Copy and paste. So as experts, sometimes we don't need to do all this copy and paste. I can be in a sheet here. I can say, okay, I want to invoke all this value in my dashboard. So how do I do that? You see that what I'm going to do is that, okay, I want to invoke them and they are to come here. So I'll put equals to here and then come to this and then select what? Let's say this, and then click enter. You see that what? Automatically you have just called what you have there. So the only thing you do now, if I autofill, look at it, will call the rest automatically. If I autofill, it will call the rest. But the first one will give you the first one. I hope somebody got this, please. So this is very important to understand this. Is it clear?
It's clear to me, sir.
Okay,
No, sir, please, no.
okay. Now, what we are saying is that, look at this here. You have value here. The other time we have to copy and paste and remove duplicate. Now, I am saying that you have value here. Okay, let me use this value now. Let's say everything you have here now, you want to extract it from here, a copy of it in another sheet. Probably you are working here, and there is analysis that you are doing that require you duplicating those value or profit. So I can come here and say, okay, I want to call all the profit value here. So what I'm saying is that there is a logic you can use to call all the value. You type equals to, go back to the data set. Then if I want to start from here, I'll just press what? Enter. So I have called the what? The header now. Then I can now what? Autofill it. And then you can see that what is calling the header. But now is the value that I want to capture. So I will do it separately for the value. So I will now come here, press equals to also, then go back and select the first value under that header, and then press enter. Then to generate order, just autofill it. You see that what? It will call other values automatically. Mrs. Antonia, I hope it's clear now. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, very well. Thank you.
All right. So let's quickly try it. We are rounding up. Let's quickly try it. Let's quickly try it. So these are techniques. What I did now is that I duplicated values in a particular column to a different sheet entirely, not even within the same sheet. So these are some techniques that you need to know that you might involve when you are cleaning your data. Right? So let me take one more and then we will stop there, and then so that we can all prepare to eat our Easter rice tomorrow. So the next one I want to teach us is that another clean is that you can let me look for, I'm just trying to, okay, like dates. You can have issue with dates. For example, if I highlight all these dates, let's say I highlight them, and then let me change them to the format that they may come with sometime when you load data into Excel. Instead of giving you this date format, you might have them in a different format. So I want to deliberately create that error. So I'll go to home and change this from date format to what? General. I will change it to general. Or let's say, let me change it to a number. Let me say, I'm not able to change to, then I will just convert this to dates so that we understand how it works. So what I'm trying to show us here is that there are times that you can load in data here and the date will display like this. Instead of giving you date format, it will display like this. So it's part of the cleaning that you need to know how to resolve. So how do I resolve that? You will have to select the value. Let's say where you have the date. So in this case, we are assuming that this particular date, they are displaying like this, in case it comes out like this. So what you do is that you can come here and actually change it to what? Maybe short date. So this is one way you can easily solve it, because it will come in form of number. It will come in form of number. Meanwhile, the date is supposed to display like this. So what you do is that it's either you go to Home tab and select this and click on what? Any of the format, that long date or short date. Now, after this, you now discover that we are still having issue, because there are, when we get to probably conditional formatting, we are going to be mandated to change this date format to global recognized format. And what is that global recognized format? Is that you have YY, that is year first, followed by the month and the day. So if I ask us now, this is not the format this particular date is. So how do we change this format? Now, sometime if it has been programmed, you can get it here. You click here and then you go to not any of this, go to more number format. And then from more number format, we should get a dialog box that will give us that format here. Look at it here. I can just choose it here and then click OK. So you can see that I have modified the date to suit the global format. But where your system does not have this, because some of us might face that challenge. You might come here now, you may not see this format. Then you have to go and program it in your Windows. And how do you program it in your window? So let me quickly show us that, and that will bring us to the end. How do we program it on our window? Now, you go to your window control panel. You click on the start, type word control panel. You go to the control panel. So from your control panel, be mindful of what you touch here, because you can destroy your computer here. Don't gamble with things you don't know. So when you come here, you go to this format here, clock and region. Click on it, and then you go to number format. From number format, you come here. You can see it here. You change it from this to the one that have this. That is for those that their own will not have it from the first place I selected it from. Then you can now click on apply and click OK. By the time you go back to your data, even if you change it back to where it was, it will have what? Formatted. I hope that is understood before we end the class. Hello?
It's understood, sir.
Okay, so.
But I have a question.
Okay.
These are the remove duplicate cleaning technique we did. If we want to do it in the data set,
Okay.
what should we look out for so that we don't remove data that is relevant to the analysis? Because that's
Yes.
one of the biggest challenge I usually face.
Yes. When we say, for example, now the challenge you face is that let's assume that you want to remove duplicates here. It's going to affect other things, because this is the raw data, and those are what you call duplicates. what you might probably call duplicate here may not really mean duplicate in the entire data, because this particular euro is repeated, may not have the same dates, may not have the same order of priority, may not have the same word sales channel. So that has make it not to be duplicates. Are you getting me? That is not duplicates.
Yes, yes, sir. Okay.
It is only duplicates where everything you have under each of the column are the same. That is when it becomes duplicate. That is why you hardly come across that situation where you will have it like that, because there is no way that somebody will repeat the same thing, across all the columns. And that is why where you always face that duplicate removal is the scenario that I explain it. Okay, somebody have question.
All right, sir. What I want to ask is that what is the idea behind remove duplicate? Because I believe there is a reason for removing duplicate. So what is the idea behind remove duplicate?
Okay, so the idea behind it is, for example, is a typical example of what we did here. When we start analyzing and we are answering a question that says that we should summarize total profit against the categorical value or unique value, you are going to list all knowing that the unique values are entered somewhere. All right, they are entered in the column. You are going to take everything out, and when you take everything out, you are going to have duplicates like we had it. That is one idea. So you will now use it to remove it. Another idea is that you might be given a single column data value like this, just a column. That is where they must have computed all the information, that it will not contradict with other values you have in other columns. So you can easily remove duplicates from that column. I hope that is clear. But the issue we are having here now is that if you remove duplicate from here now, it will work, but it will affect what? Other column value. But where it's just a single column data, somebody just record maybe cost of item in one column, and he or she made mistake of writing one twice. So that duplicate will become, very important in that kind of structure. I don't know if I answer your question the way you expected it.
Okay, from what you said now, if I want to relate it with this file I'm seeing on my screen, you said removing like this item type.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
so
Like
if I
here
want to
now.
get yes, item type. Like if I want to get the unique item,
Yeah.
so I have to highlight everything, take it to a separate what
Exactly.
cell,
Exactly.
drop it there to get exactly the item that is being sold, the
Yes.
unique item that is being sold, because maybe some may be repeated.
Exactly. Because
Yes.
if you try to remove it directly from the data, it will affect other values. That is the reason why we are taking it out. Okay, Ms. Hannah, you want to ask?
Yes,
another?
sir. I
Okay.
wanted, yes, another question regarding
Oh,
this duplicate.
okay.
Is there a way, supposing I have a data set that has this rare mistake of duplicate values, is there a way I can actually just check for duplicates rather than just removing it?
Yes, if you want to check for duplicates, you got that reply the other time when we applied the function. What was the message that was prompted? Do you remember that message?
Yeah,
What?
from column, the one that said from
Okay.
column.
Let's do it this way. Let's say you want to check now. You don't want to use this for the analysis purpose. Let's say you come in here, you want to check whether you are not supposed to have repeated value here, and you want to check whether there are repeated value, and you highlight the data like this, and then you go to that data and select what remove duplicate. Now you see what happened here. So if I click OK now, what do you have? What do you have? Did you get a report that say you have duplicate because you selected the entire data? No duplicate values what? Found. I believe this answered the question you are navigating on the data.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it does.
So
yes,
no duplicate value found. But you see that because we selected it within the data, and even we copied it out, that one we copy out is for analysis purpose.
Okay.
For analysis purpose. Because we are supposed to manually retype all these unique products. And I don't want to retype them. I know that they have been entered in the data. Let me just tick everything and then I remove duplicate. That was exactly what we did here. So if it is just for checking whether you have duplicate, then select the entire data, run the code, then it will tell you. I believe that I've answered the question as well.
Yes, you've answered the question. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other question? Okay, so we stop here. So see you next weekend. So which means that next weekend I'm still going to chip in few of them that are from experience I know that can stress you. Then we will just consider them for the first 30 minutes and then we start basic analysis. All right, so bye for now. See you Friday. Keep practicing. Please don't stop practicing. All right.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night. Happy Easter.
Thank you. Good night.